Hi, this is Ethics Video Chapter 26, Giving Voice to the Voiceless, the case of telling the story of the other. Astoria Gillette found a newfound joy for storytelling after taking a news writing and editing class at her school. After the class had finished, she still wanted to work on her storytelling skills. So she joined forces with a local photographer in Savannah, Georgia, who was working on a project that involved photographing African American businesses on Waters Avenue. Gillette's job was to conduct interviews and record them, and also the ambient sound of the business. Her first assignment was to interview a 23-year-old at a barber shop. He talked about how most of the people his age grew up without a father, and they came there for male guidance, and Gillette felt very out of place. It was a great interview, but she and the photographer were the only white people in the barber shop and the only women. She thought back to the film Stranger with a Camera from her news writing editing class, where it talked about how the participants had a completely different economic status and life experience than the filmmakers. The film was included in the class to remind students to be respectful of private space, conduct thorough research, and remember the real reason for telling the story. Gillette had not considered the tension between public information and the private space until she began the project with the photographer. She began to feel like she did not have the right to report the lives of these people because she came from a privileged life. But she also felt that she could not only write stories about the lives of middle-class white women. Gillette went to her news writing and editing professor for advice on the matter. He reassured her that her awareness was the right step in representing her subjects respectfully and appropriately. The professor said that as long as Gillette was portraying the situation with accuracy and humanity, then it should be fine, and after this conversation, she began to work with a new sense of purpose. Gillette decided the best course of action was to give the businesses their own voice and just allow them to tell their stories through her. Gillette's experiences working with a photographer gave her new perspective on her responsibility to give a voice to the voiceless. I believe that Gillette was right to worry that she was not right fit for the story, because a lot of writers write from experience, and she had none in the area. She could have talked with the community to see if they had any concerns with her telling their story. The best way to approach sources from different economic status, race, or ethnicity is to be completely objective when telling their story, and let them do the storytelling. Newsrooms need to broaden their search for hiring because some people do not have the means to get a bachelor's degree, but they still need their voices heard. It is important to have a diversity of voices because each person brings their own perspectives and ideas to the newsroom. This chapter has taught me to be more ethical because now I know to always be objective and evaluate if I am the best fit for something like certain projects.